everyone. Thank you, Ms. Winifred, and thank you, AC&J. I also serve on the Parent Leadership Council for AC&J, so I'm representing them tonight. My name is Danna Dennis, and I'm a resident of Essex County, formerly of Newark, and now here in East Orange. I work full-time. I do have a two-parent household, and I'm thankful for that for my children. I have a 4-year-old and 6-year-old. And I've often in my motherhood journey had to question whether or not I need to choose between my career, which I've been at to close to a decade, actually a little over a decade now, as an advocate, or have to stay home with my children, which would take a lot of income out of my household, right? My oldest son, actually, who's 6 years old, suffered an injury at birth, and it resulted in a lot of needs as far as therapy, medical care. It actually told me right away that there was no option of staying home, that I needed my job because I needed the security of health care to be able to provide for him. As a family of 4, in the last 3 years, actually, close to 4 years now since we moved to East Orange, we've had a 4% rent increase every single year. So this is a burden. On top of that, we spend over $400 a month in premium health insurance costs, as well as an additional $260+ for copays between my son's occupational therapy, speech therapy. Even in addition to what's provided through the public school district, we still have to go after other additional care. I'm also a type 2 diabetic, so there's a lot of medication that's needed from me, and my husband has other medications that he needs. So leaving our job just immediately became something that we couldn't choose. And so how we tackled this issue, in addition to going after the subsidy, which took us a while. We actually didn't know about it, and I fear that a lot of parents don't know about it, but we got a little bit of help. He had to switch his schedule immediately from daytime to night, right? So that resulted in me dropping off, him picking up. I will tell you, I had days where I literally cried in the bathroom at work going, is this going to work? And then when we moved here, actually, we got a little extra support because when we were in Newark at first, we had to call my mom out of Savannah, Georgia, out of retirement to come and support us. And I will tell you, and you all probably know, grandparents are coming out all the time to help, right? We have a third person now that can help pick our kids up when I have to be out of town for work or I'm working late night. I had so many meetings after my traditional schedule, which is 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., that would result in me having to be in the office late. And I was thinking, goodness, how am I going to get home to my kids? So even with the subsidy, even with after-school care, these costs are mounting. Without the subsidy, I will tell you, after-school care would result in $170 a week per child. This summer is the first summer that we have been able to send both of our kids to summer camp for the entire summer because of the subsidy. In previous years, we have spent out-of-pocket costs of $265 per week per child. And that's with a 3 p.m. pickup. It probably would have been a little bit extra if we needed to actually get them when we do get off of work. So, I feel like I'm preaching to the choir. You all know this. But I guess I'm also reaching out just with one last hope to our legislators that we as parents can be heard. My fear is that there is a parent right now, right, with a baby in utero that may be born right around the time that this is cut off, and they're going to need this subsidy. There is someone who's going to enroll their child come September, and they had no idea that the deadline is tomorrow, and they're going to be cut off, right? There are parents who have children like mine who are 18 months apart, and maybe one child is already enrolled, and that other child isn't going to make the deadline. That's a fear. We got that letter just like many other parents across the state just this month that said, hey, we cannot take any other child of yours. And we're actually a little bit in fear, even though our children are currently enrolled, that even with the funding cuts, we may not get a spot next year. This is a fear of mine. My prayer, my hope is that there will be extra funding found. Our calls for justice around this issue will be heard. I'm thankful for the additional funding that Ms. Winifred spoke about, but I'm hoping that they can squeeze a little bit extra, right? These cuts that are coming down from DC to the state level to now the local level are really hurting families like ours in so many ways. And I'm hoping that also our employers continue to hear us, not just as parents, right? Again, I spoke about my oldest child having a host of disabilities, and being able to enroll my child here at Zadie's has been such a help. I didn't have to deal with the extra stress of thinking, is this going to be a safe environment? I was welcome immediately. It was inclusive. All of his teachers understood his needs. They saw his disability, and they never, ever shunned him away. And that isn't something that I had to think twice about, and they deserve to be paid and paid well for that. We need to make sure that our providers are being paid. So lastly, I'll just leave you with continue to send out your videos, make your posts as parents, share with anyone else that you can think of who may be in this position, anyone that you may know who's expecting, who needs it for their family, and hopefully will be heard. Thank you all.